are going to deep dive into a story that's, well, let's just say it's not your typical crypto news.
Oh, this should be good.
We're taking a look at a podcast episode from the Luma Podcast. It's called The Trump's Foray into Cryptocurrency.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, you heard that right?
Yeah.
Donald and Melania Trump, cryptocurrency.
It is a rather unexpected turn of events, that's for sure.
I know, right?
Launching your own crypto is, well, it's a bold move for anyone, but for a former president, especially one who was once very critical of crypto, it definitely makes you curious.
It really does.
So it does.
So the Luma Podcast hosts, Emma and Liam, they really break this whole thing down. Apparently, just before his second term inauguration was supposed to happen, Donald Trump went ahead and released a meme coin. It's called Trump Key.
Of course it is.
And then shortly after, Melania, she followed suit.
With
Melania.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Yep.
What makes this even more interesting, though, is how Trump used to feel about crypto.
Yeah.
Like back in 2019, he was really skeptical, wasn't he?
He was.
Even calling it, what was it? A scam.
Yeah, a scam.
So what could have made him completely change his mind?
Well, Liam, one of the Luma Podcast hosts, he suggests that maybe it's a branding play. You know? Trump has always been about image.
Right.
And let's be honest, generating wealth.
Yeah.
Maybe he just saw this as a way to tap into, that whole crypto capital of the world vision he was pushing.
That's true. He was really pushing that. And it's important to remember what was happening in the crypto world back then.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Bitcoin was going crazy at the time.
It was.
Breaking records, going over $109,000. Everyone was talking about crypto. So it's not surprising that he would want to get in on all of that excitement, that energy.
And he definitely capitalized. According to the Luma Podcast, Trump went from like $3 to $77 in just 24 hours.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
That kind of volatility, it's just wild.
Totally.
Melania's coin, it wasn't too far behind either. It went up like 800% right after it launched.
Well, that's where meme coins come in, right? They're not like Bitcoin or Ethereum.
Right.
They're driven by what's trending on social media, endorsements and hype, not by, actual value or anything like that.
Exactly, yeah.
You remember Dogecoin? That's the perfect example of how a meme coin can just explode and then, totally crash.
But the Luma Podcast hosts, they brought up a good point. They said Trump and Melania, they might actually be different.
How so?
Well, because they've got the weight of, a political figure behind them.
Oh, right, yeah.
A very polarizing one. Could that attract supporters who see them as like a symbol of loyalty? Maybe even lead to them being more stable than your average meme coin.
That's a really interesting point. The average meme coin, it usually relies on, those trends, those internet fads that disappear quickly.
Right.
But with Trump and Melania, they could potentially tap into an existing group of really dedicated supporters. It changes the whole meme coin thing, doesn't it?
It does. But it's not all, sunshine and roses. It's not without its concerns. According to the Luma Podcast, entities that are, how do I say this, closely aligned with Trump, they apparently hold over 80% of Trump people.
Oh, okay. So we're talking about centralization, and that raises some big red flags, doesn't it?
It does.
About market manipulation.
Exactly, yeah.
The whole point of cryptocurrency, at least in theory, is that it's decentralized. But when one group has so much control, well, it kind of goes against that whole idea.
Right.
And it creates opportunities for, let's just say, some less than ethical practices.
It definitely feels like a conflict of interest, especially because the Trumps are saying these coins are, quote, digital collectibles and not investments.
Interesting.
But is that even realistic when you're talking about billions of dollars in trading volume?
That's a really good question. The line between a collectible and an investment, well, it gets really blurry when you're dealing with those kinds of numbers, especially in a market like crypto, which is so driven by, speculation and hype.
Yeah.
Imagine someone buying Trump P at $3 and then boom, it goes up to $77 overnight.
Wow.
That's not just someone who wants a little digital souvenir, is it?
No, not at all. It makes you think, what does this mean for the future of crypto? Could this make other world leaders launch their own coins? Are we headed towards a world where every politician has their own cryptocurrency?
It's not as crazy as it sounds. We're already seeing central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, emerging, like the digital yuan in China. But those are different. Very different from meme coins like Trump. They're backed by governments, heavily regulated, and they basically operate like digital versions of our regular money.
So we're talking about two completely different things here. The Trumps, they're basically diving into uncharted territory.
They are.
It's hard to say what will happen.
It's impossible to predict. This could bring more attention to crypto. Maybe even make it seem more legitimate, attract new investors, lead to new innovations. But it also raises some serious concerns about manipulation, conflicts of interest, and whether people can still trust a system that's supposed to be decentralized.
It's a real double-edged sword.
It is.
And we're only just starting to see how this will all play out.
Exactly. It's wild, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, the Trumps have basically thrown this massive curveball into the world of crypto. You have a former president, someone who, like we said, completely dismissed all this, and now he's right in the middle of it.
Right.
It really makes you think about how fast things change and how people, change with them.
It's true. And it's not just about individuals, though, is it?
No.
This has the potential to affect the whole crypto market. Like we were talking about how Bitcoin and Ethereum, their prices jumped after Trump and Melania launched. Do you think that was just, the excitement around it, or is it something more for investors?
That's the question, isn't it? I think it's probably a bit of both. I mean, anything Trump does creates a buzz, right?
Yeah.
So that definitely played a role. But I also think it's about, legitimization. Like it or not, when someone like Trump gets involved, it brings the whole crypto thing into the mainstream.
It's like a weird endorsement almost, even if it is from a controversial figure.
Yeah.
But is that attention, is it good for crypto in the long run, or could it actually hurt it?
It's hard to say right now. More attention can be good and bad. It could bring in new investors, which could lead to innovation and make crypto more, accepted. But it could also lead to, more instability, more chances for manipulation, and people might start to lose trust in the whole idea of decentralization.
It's like walking a tightrope between, potential and danger. And it's not just investors who have to deal with this, right? What about regulators? The Luma Podcast host, they talked about how there might be more regulation because of all of this. And with everything that's going on, it seems like that's going to happen, doesn't it?
Yeah, regulation has been a big topic in crypto for a while. And this definitely complicates things. Regulation can be good. It can provide stability, protect consumers, and, set some rules for responsible growth. But it can also, stifle innovation if it's not done carefully.
Right. The Biden administration, they haven't been that supportive of cryptocurrencies. Do you think they'll use this as a chance to, really clamp down? Or could they try to find a balance, recognizing that there are risks and benefits?
That'll be interesting to see, won't it? Whatever they decide will have a huge impact on, on the U.S. crypto market and maybe even the global one. They're in a tough position having to deal with this completely new situation.
Yeah. So where does this leave us? And more importantly, where does it leave our listener who's trying to figure out this whole crazy crypto world?
I think the biggest thing to remember is that cryptocurrency, it's not just for, tech people anymore. It's becoming mainstream. It's attracting attention from everyone, even politicians. And that creates opportunities, but also a lot of risks.
It's like the Wild West out there, isn't it? Exciting, full of potential, but also risky. What would you tell our listener who's trying to navigate this new landscape?
Well, first, do your research. Don't just jump into something because of hype or because someone famous says it's good. Understand the technology, what makes different cryptocurrencies work, and be aware of the risks. This isn't about getting rich quick. It's complicated, it's always changing, and it requires you to think long term.
Don't get caught up in the moment and forget the basics. Good advice for anything, especially in crypto.
Yeah. And always think critically. Question everything, look beyond what you see on the surface, and don't be afraid to challenge what you think you know. That's super important when you're dealing with, finance, technology, and politics all mixed together like we are here.
Right. We started this episode talking about the Trumps getting into crypto. And now we've uncovered a whole bunch of complex issues that go way beyond just Trump and Melania.
It shows you that, technology doesn't exist on its own. It's influenced by social trends, by politics, by the economy. Understanding how all those things connect, it's crucial to understanding what's happening.
We can't predict the future, but we can learn from the past and be informed about what's happening now. It's crazy to think, we used to think crypto was like this weird thing, and now it could totally change the world. And with the Trumps involved, it feels like everything's different now.
It does, doesn't it? And we have no idea what's next. We've talked about all the possibilities, the good, the bad, but, there's this one thing that keeps popping up in my mind.
Oh, tell me.
Do you think that maybe we're heading towards a future where everyone, like every politician, celebrity, influencer has their own coin. What if your personal brand was like connected to your own cryptocurrency?
Whoa. That's a lot to think about. I can't even imagine what that would look like, but it does make you wonder about money, politics, even what value really means.
Right. Imagine like political campaigns, not funded by donations, but by, how much a candidate's coin is worth. Or influencers launching products with their own crypto backing it.
It's like we're stepping into some alternate reality where like who you are, what you're worth, how much influence you have, it all just blends together. It's exciting, but kind of scary too.
It is. It makes you think, what even is money if it's all tied to, individual people and online groups?
So if this is the future, what does it mean for, our listener? How should they be thinking about all of this?
I think just stay informed, stay curious, and be critical. Don't get caught up in hype or blindly follow someone. Do your own research, know the risks and the rewards, and be ready for a future where money might not look anything like it does now.
We started with the Trumps launching their crypto, and we ended up talking about, wow, so much more. Finance, tech, politics, social trends, it's all connected.
Exactly. It just goes to show you that, every new thing, especially in a world like crypto, it can create these waves that affect everything.
And who knows what's coming next. But one thing's for sure, we'll be here to deep dive into it and help our listeners figure it all out.
Absolutely. The world of crypto, it never stops changing. And the best way to navigate it is to keep learning, keep asking questions, and be open to all the possibilities, good and bad.
Well said. That wraps up our deep dive into the Trumps and their crypto adventure. We covered a lot, but hopefully you're leaving with more questions than answers, because that's what real learning is all about.
And hey, maybe those questions will lead to some cool discoveries down the road.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those deep dive questions coming.